with our bucket truck, we will. If not, I'll get a hold of tree service to deal with it. But at the very least, if we can't get it, I'll call off underneath it so nobody gets killed.
Thanks.
That would be good.
No, we don't want that. All right. Anything else for Jeff? Okay. So, let's see, we have an update from Tracy's not here. He sent his report. Phase 2 is moving along. Working through challenges with BCA, all that. Construction kind of stuff.
You have something on that, Ron?
No.
Okay.
Not as of yet. We keep emailing back and forth.
Yeah, we're still talking about that whole thing they came and presented to
Very
us.
expensive.
Yeah. The project's moving around.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. The disinfection project's moving.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So, that's where we're at last time. Let's see, did we get anything from the fire chief? Do you have anything, Rusty?
No, I spoke to him
Yeah,
today.
I signed
Parade
this.
permit?
That's
Oh,
from
yes.
him.
Well,
It's from the host team.
yeah.
But, well, the chief can't come tonight, and she's not anything pressing for us. Where is that rate here? This is for 3 of Baker's 100th birthday. And the host team would like to have a parade permit. And you have it in front of it. It's on east on George Street, north on North Avenue, stopping at the bus garage. So they'll come out of George Street on North Avenue, go up to the bus garage. Although that does take them outside of our.
Sheldon Down Boulevard.
I'm sorry? No.
They would go Sheldon Down Boulevard? No?
No, they're gonna come down George Street to the east. They're gonna go up north on North Avenue to the bus garage.
Okay.
And that will take them actually out of our
Bus
village.
garage is out of the village.
So I don't know how that plays about.
We'll just have to ask the town.
Sorry?
We have to go to the town, right?
I think so.
Technically. Or the state, because that's a state road.
It's only for 50 feet.
Would we, will we have to go?
Include in the village
What's
at
that?
Frida Baker's house, it will just continue on to the bus garage.
Okay. That's Pat Gavin.
Yeah.
The state.
Jeff has the state paperwork.
Because that's,
They have state paper.
they filed a permit with the state, because that's technically 38, which is a state road, so.
So they've already talked to the state about it? Okay.
So they're good.
So that's, you've got that in front of you, that is,
We need to vote on that, or?
yeah, eventually here, that's September
Can you tell
9th.
me again, the applicant is the fire department or the host team, the parade is vehicles, and what was the date?
It is August,
September 9th.
oh yeah, September 9th, that's the day of the application.
It's the day of the parade, it'll be at 5:15 in the evening. It'll form in Owego Free Academy, it will go east on George Street to North Avenue, north on North Avenue to the bus garage where the parade will technically end.
Come back.
Okay.
Like a birthday parade.
Because it's traveling so far, do they want OPD to lead it? Or,
They do not.
Or,
No,
Says no.
no? Okay.
It's mostly fire trucks, so.
so I move we approve the parade permit.
I'll
For,
second
here we go, host team for the particulars.
I'll second.
Okay.
No, Fran second.
Well, Fran, I got you. Alright, so let's vote on the parade for Miss Baker. She's gonna be 100, which is awesome. Fran?
Yes.
Charles? Yes. Rusty?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, we're good to go on that, as long as the state says you're good.
Yes, that was conditional on the state, of course. all for the,
I'll take care of the, firm 33 DOT.
Okay.
I believe that's all that the fire had for us at this time. There are some things from the police.
Yes, so let's move on to the police.
Don't we do it? Stuff? Yeah. And then, of course, the police are pleased with the general outcome of the demonstration on last Friday. It was pretty much mostly peaceful and went well. And much at the end. And they were there and did a fine job of it. The chief has interviewed a candidate for a full-time police officer, and he has written a small, quick recommendation, which you may have in front of you, about the gentleman. So if you have in front of you, I respectfully request that we move to hire Dominic DeMuth. Mr. DeMuth is a New York State certified police officer. He is 25 years old. We would be hiring him under the COP COPS hiring grant. The starting pay would be $44,315, approximately as stated in the CBA and as stated in our COPS benefit grant. He would be entitled to all the other benefits as set forth in the CBA. Once again, the ones referred to in the COPS grant. I recommend that the board set his probationary period. This part, it says here at the maximum that Tioga County Service will allow. My department has conducted and completed a full background check on Mr. DeMuth and find him an acceptable addition to our village police department. The chief has more to say about him. He was quite impressed with the young gentleman, and he's met with him several times, and he's also talked to the places he's worked before. So the chief is highly recommending that we hire this gentleman. I'm going to make a motion that we do. The motion in it will state his probationary period as 52 weeks, 1 year probationary period. So that is the
Can you say
motion.
that again, what the length of the probation period is?
52 weeks, 1 year.
Okay, thank you.
I should yell louder.
You gotta yell about it.
And I will. So that is the motion, that we hire Dominic DeMuth as a full-time police officer under the conditions stated here.
I'll second that.
Okay. Do you have any comments on that?
How is his rate of pay addressed again?
It is,
It's probably the collective bargaining agreement.
yes,
Yeah.
it's set at 40.
For the contract, 44,315 is stated in the CBA.
Right, so because he's being hired as a full-time officer, you don't need to spell
Just say
out
what
everything
that's
that you
all.
would for the part-timers. Part-timers, you do need to spell out more because the CBA kind of fills in the terms.
Yeah, we got all
of it.
My only comment is I talked to Officer Pike, went to the academy with him, and very highly recommended him, so that's good.
When would he be starting?
That's a good question.
What are we looking at as a start date?
Ron says the same exact question.
These hybrid meetings are important.
Yeah.
I know.
I'm just thinking,
Chief's letter doesn't say.
what's today?
When's the next pay period, sir?
Today's August 3rd.
Monday. He's not going to start because the chief is not in for a couple of days, so he's not going to start today.
What's the immediate one?
We can say which.
Shall we say next Monday? I don't know. What do you want to say?
Okay, so we
can say
received the
this.
grant money, and so that'll be good.
Oh, yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
it's all good. It's all signed and we got the
Okay.
confirmation back, so
He might have to give 2 weeks notice where he's at, and you don't even know what he's doing.
I would say.
Alright.
We approve him to start,
ASAP.
we approve him to start as soon as the chief is prepared to have him start.
Okay.
As soon as the chief is.
ASAP. Because we know the chief needs some help.
Yeah. Did he vote on it?
We didn't vote.
We didn't vote, no. We have a motion and a second, right? We have a second?
Yes.
So that was Charles, yes, it was Charles.
All right, any more discussion on that? Take a vote, Fran,
Yes.
Charles? Yes. Rusty?
Yes.
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes. That's good news. anybody doesn't know, in the public, or on the YouTube later, we are signed and approved to hire up to 3 officers full-time with the COPS grant, which is, COPS stands for Community Oriented Policing, which is what we do. And we do it pretty well, so.
Excellent.
That is awesome.
Excellent job.
We got one of the highest grants in New York State, I think, so.
Covers 100%.
100% for 3 years.
Unusual.
And I will, at another time,
Kudos to,
at another time, I will speak to the board of some of the implications of that.
kudos to the chief and Team Tioga. We got a lot of help from Team Tioga and one of our past chiefs, so. Yeah, good stuff. Alright, so that was department head reports. Payment of bills. Everybody okay now? Anybody have any questions?
Hey, Mayor,
Yep.
I got one other thing.
Okay.
Just to remind everybody that as of today, we have a full-time code officer.
Yes, do we have to do anything with that?
I did a payroll directive that goes to
We
Cindy,
voted on that before, didn't we?
so
We put him in the budget, but do we have to actually?
She should be appointed as a full-time code officer because it's a civil service change too.
Right.
Because the position he occupies is part-time officer.
Right. So should we do that now?
And you should include in the resolution his rate of pay and, you know, all those other things that we've routinely talked about for people who aren't covered by the collective bargaining rates.
Are we gonna give him the probationary?
He is a public officer, and so I believe he
It's been a
wouldn't
20-year-old.
be necessarily having the same type of probationary period. Or he doesn't have the civil service protections, I think, that others do.
Yeah, we can always say it's the minimum.
You could also say that just to
Just in
cover
case.
bases.
His position is a civil service position.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, every position's a civil service position.
Well, our
It's just
code
that
officer-
some protections and some
Our
don't.
code officer did not used to be that, and we took him into that a few years back.
Right.
But
So we do need a motion to promote him
to appoint him
full-time.
to the full-time code enforcement officer position, and then rate of pay being,
40,000.
40,000.
40, there we go, 40,000.
and then time off. and-
Full benefits per CSA.
TFCD contract.
Well, to mirror
To mirror.
the time off, or is it all benefits of the CSEA contract?
It's a CSDA position.
Oh,
Oh.
So,
maybe as a department head, he's not included in the union, but it sounds like, Jeff, you're saying the department heads get the same benefits as the employees.
That is true.
Right. But CSDA owns the code enforcement position.
So it actually is a union position?
Yes,
Because he's underneath you, right? He reports to you?
yes.
Yeah.
No, in that case, you don't need to say really much about it.
do we have to still approve it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor and Laura, I'm making a motion now that we approve Scott Phelps as full-time code officer at the rate of pay of annually $40,000 with all appropriate benefits from his CSEA contract application, and anything else in there? With a probationary period,
Yes.
I'm still doing it, with a probationary period, the minimum that civil service requires.
And it starts today.
Starts today. Say that loud. Did you get that, Laura?
Yes, I did.
This is minimum.
Minimum probation that the civil service requires.
Who second that?
Yeah, I'd like to second that.
All right.
Any discussion on Scott? Great job. Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yeah.
Rusty?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
Yes.
Is he gonna be in the union? I mean, he's not He's an option.
Right, yeah, you can either join or not, I don't know.
Rod, you should see if he wants to be in the community, because otherwise he's gonna have to lose.
This definitely must be.
What?
Well, we'll check.
Yeah, you check that. All right, thanks, Jeff. Glad we got that done, straightened out. Back to payment of bills. Anybody have any questions on the payment of bills?
Move to accept payment of bills?
I motion to approve the payment of bills as submitted.
You got the second.
I looked through them, nothing crazy. Any other questions? Fran?
Yes.
Charles?
Yes.
Rusty?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes.
Mr. Mayor.
Rusty?
Move to approve the board minutes of Monday, July 20th, 2020.
Okay. Anybody see any problems with them?
Second that. Is that right there?
It's the 20th, right?
20th of July.
Yeah, everything right.
We got 16, 17.
Is it the 16th? That was a special meeting.
No, it's the 20th.
20th is the regular meeting.
16.
All right, anybody have any comments on the minutes? All right,
I motion to approve the minutes.
Rusty already did.
Oh, okay, I second, or let's go.
Okay.
Now Charles got the second.
I didn't hear
All
that.
right,
Aren't you listening to her? Let's go.
Fran?
Yes.
Charles? Yes. Rusty?
Yes.
Rob?
Yes.
Laura?
Yes.
And yes. Communications, that give me, we're going to do the health insurance thing. So we are looking at, got some communication from the Tompkins County Consortium. They were looking at, they may be able to provide us the same, roughly the same health insurance we offer today, at a significantly lower cost to the village. Save us like $60,000 a year, if you guys can sheet. I'll show the sheet that does everything. So we're looking into that, trying to figure that out with the two different unions. Hopefully we're bringing that soon, because we need to, the way it works is we have to apply to this consortium and accept us. And there's a timeline for that, which we need to do. What is it?
Within the next month or two,
Yeah.
I thought Cindy said.
Soon, I think September maybe, so, anyway, we're sorting that out.
Like an open enrollment period, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we have to join their, it's a self-insured plan, so we have to join their plan. There's only certain windows where you can join their plan.
Yeah, so the self-insurance programs, they basically, instead, you could always just self-insure yourself, just pay everything out of pocket. Bad idea. As a municipality, you can band together with other municipal entities to self-insure, and so it's kind of like you're almost creating your own mini insurance company.
Right.
You get enough groups, towns, villages, schools into one pot, and then they do an analysis like insurance companies do, and that figures the rates that they require their members to pay, which is why there's a limited period of time to join in.
So that could potentially fluctuate every year if people decide to
Yes, and
stray away.
This one is very stable. They have tons of villages, towns, and school districts in their group. And they've fluctuated less than 5% over the last however many years.
It could fluctuate.
It could,
Sounds like
yeah.
they've been pretty stable. And then one of the other issues that you get with the self-insurance plan is because, I mean, it is much smaller than a standard insurance company. And everyone has to pay everything. And so there might be a year where somebody ends up with like kidney dialysis, millions and millions of dollars going into literally one person that causes a big jump on it. I mean, that could happen. There's some programs for reinsurance that you might look into or consider, where if you self-insure, but then you buy an insurance plan for your self-insurance plan in case you ever exceed a certain amount of money on your self-insurance payments.
They'll have to come in and explain it, but they have those insurance plans in this plan.
Yeah, and that's probably good. Insurance for your insurance.
Yeah. So anyway, we've got the beginning stages. Right now we've proposed it to the two unions and trying to see if they're going to buy into it to start with. The plans are basically the same. It's still Blue Cross Blue Shield. It's administered by them. The employee wouldn't see much difference. There are some little differences in percentage here, percentage there.
And then I did get an email from the PBA, Police Union's attorney. The contract is expiring anyway.
Right.
And so they're planning to send a letter to the village to start contract negotiations relatively soon. So you can expect that arduous process to begin again, unless it all goes really smoothly. Fingers crossed.
It's a fun time.
Yeah.
I remember Rusty.
A couple of quick questions. So, you say this is kind of the beginning of the process, but we don't have forever to do it. Do we have any other people to compare this to, prices people or anything like that?
Oh yeah, no, we got all kinds of data.
Okay.
We can have them come in and talk to us.
Okay.
Show us their slides and whatever.
So, as Nate was pointing out, if somebody that's in this small group has catastrophic something, that's
Not within your pool of employees, it's within the self-insurance
within the
plans.
entire group of self-insured,
Within the consortium.
within the People's Republic of Michigan's entire.
Correct.
Okay, so anyway, if somebody has some catastrophic thing, it can affect our,
It would affect your rate next year. So
Our rates.
The way these self-insurance plans typically work is they do assign like a rating to each of the member, assuming this one works like one's they assign a member rating to each of the members, and then they say, okay, how many claims did we have last year? And then depending on how many particular issues you've had, they'll adjust your future rate up and down as a result. So if you end up with if you do end up with a really bad year because somebody needs something, then your particular rating is going to go up a lot higher, and that would be the cause to, overall their plan might fluctuate only 5%, but individual communities within that plan might see some large spikes, depending on exactly what that is.
so certainly insurance savings is something we've been discussing for quite some time. This is an odd time to be playing around with insurance with the nature of COVID and health. I don't know if it's a risky time to be doing this or not, but it's certainly stuff to be putting into the mix.
Something to look at.
Yeah.
Well, they lock us into
Sort of
a
a question, are we locked in currently with something that's good enough that we shouldn't maybe go to the consortium if like one person could sort of knock out the prices, like what if there's one person that needs excessive COVID treatment, wouldn't that kill the prices for the next time? Like are we at a good
No,
place with what we've got?
I'll have to have them come in and present because they had a whole bunch of slides on it. Right, so this consortium has insurance so that if one person used a ton of money, eventually, once they pay out enough, their insurance kicks in and starts paying out so they don't get killed. And they're very stable. They got like half an year to stay in this thing. So, yeah. And as far as the actual insurance goes, like our employees going to the doctor or whatever, essentially nothing would change. It's still, we have Blue Cross right now, Gold plan, or whatever it is. They would have the same Blue Cross plan, same doctors, same everything.
At the beginning of our meeting when we were talking to the med like a high, what they were paying out, or like the, they weren't paying big numbers or being speedy about it.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. So anyway, something we're looking at to try and save a little bit of money, but
Is that something we'd like to have somebody come and talk to us about?
if you guys want to, I can get him down here at the next board meeting and he can do his little pitch. He did it for, where I got the information and we'll kind of kick this off was the council of government had him in Tioga County level. He gave his pitch there.
Did they bite?
Well, that is a meeting of all the different mayors and supervisors across the county, so it depends on each one. I said that based on the savings, you might be interested. So they ran these numbers and our savings would be, if we chose them and everything goes correctly, our savings this year would be $60,000.
That's assuming both of the unions agree.
Anything else on that?
If you're having somebody come down, you might, if that's what the board wants, you might consider having this person present to the unions as well.
Yeah.
Just, if they're health insurance, they should know what the impacts will be.
There is a timeline, so I can set that up for next meeting.
Could you have the union rep attend the meeting?
Yep.
Remember, we used to have the county used to do a consortium for health insurance.
Right.
And just a few years ago, they sort of got out of that, gave it back to us, and then they gave us enough money to buy the street or something.
Yeah. This is a similar deal, but bigger.
Yeah.
So anyway, I'll get them to come down with a little pictures. I learned a lot.
60,000
That's 60,000 per year.
Is it a lot above the thing?
Yeah. A lot of sidewalks out front of your house.
Our real cemetery.
Yeah. Yeah, the smoothest sidewalk. All right. Next thing, trustee reports. Fran?
Cemetery committee meeting went today, and we reviewed the priorities list, and I'm going to wait. I'll present that at the next board meeting because I'll make sure that it's in the committee's meeting minutes. We all agree on it. So the only thing I have for today is for the work cruise at the cemetery, the August 8th from 9 to noon.
Okay.
We did change dates in September. The cemetery committee will meet on September 7th at 5:30. And the work day in September for the cemetery is September the 5th from 9 to noon. That's all for today.
Good. Charles?
I'd like to inform the residents to make sure that your vehicles are locked, because there's been a rash of break-ins and thefts in the area. Not locking them. Yeah. Bicycles and stolen from behind the police station. So be on the lookout. See something, say something. That's all I gotta say about that.
Anything else? Mr. Tarpon?
Yeah, we're gonna do something.
Rusty Gate?
Oh, it's been so long. I would like just a couple of minutes of the executive session to speak on, what do we call this? Property.
Be attorney-client, wouldn't it?
Attorney client?
Well, if you have specific questions,
Yeah,
attorney's
attorney
time.
client.
If we have any hurry, quick.
Is that
It's gonna be quick, I got a little work.
So this doesn't have, but you guys just follow this long.
Okay.
So, I don't
know how to
executive
record.
session.
Call on us.
Okay. You have to call one of us on your phone number. We have a second for that?
One second.
Okay, quick vote, Fran?
Yes.
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 had communication with BCA, that's still undergoing, that's the extent of my report.
Mayor's report, I did one this time. We'll pass it out if they're all here. Posted the video, met with Grocer and Development Engineering on the new DPW building that is finally got some progress on it. Great progress, but trying to get Delta paid for what they've
So
done.
what is the progress?
We're trying to get Delta paid for what they've done. Moving the building back over here. And that's gonna be okay with everybody. The big question now is, will the building be built? And will everything be closed out by the deadline we have to spend money by? Which is
February 2022.
right. We have it today, it's mainly going to go through, but now we're kind of on the hook to finish everything and spend the money by that date. Anyway, working through that.
And I think it's important to also remember the COVID-related issues, because
Yeah.
insofar as there were some things that needed to be worked through at Gozer with Delta and Village, I think that contributed to some of this as well.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there was, COVID went on, so there was back and forth that people weren't in the office or whatever. So it's better now, and everything's kind of moving, so it's good. There was a Tioga County Land Bank meeting, on that, did that. Reviewed the payment of bills, and then worked with Tracy around through the phase 2 issues.
I have a really brief report.
Oh, yeah, Laura, I forgot.
The OHPC is going to be meeting at a virtual meeting August 6th at 7 p.m. There's 4 project applications on the docket. And then for the planning and zoning committees, there's training available. And so they can respond to their emails and maybe receive their training and stuff. I would appreciate it.
Yep.
That's it for me.
Okay. Yes, I forgot, I set that up today, but yep, I sent it to Cindy. Yeah, I guess my only other comment is thank you to our first responders, police, fire, EMS, and people. They're on the front lines. Front lines are, glorious right now. And yeah, watch your vehicles and your stuff. I know we talked about it before with the chief, something we probably need to set up is a list of, we'll call it virtual neighborhood watch. A list of people that have cameras that would be willing to share data if something happens. I know I have cameras, we could create a file list like that. A lot of businesses have them, a lot of homeowners have them, these are pretty cheap. $50 you can get a decent camera these days. Who knows what you might catch. So far, cat, squirrels.
Can we call that the 1984?
Anyway, that's all I got.
I have a question. Is there a date at which the full board needs to meet in person?
It's a big question.
Oh gosh, when did the governor last extend that? He seems to be waiting until the literal last minute to extend these orders. I forget off the top of my head when it goes through currently. I think maybe it's the end of August, but I would expect this to continue to be strung along for quite a while now.
Yeah.
That'd be my guess.
Was that doing?
The meetings.
In person.
Virtual, online.
Oh, okay.
If I had to put a real guess to it, this is just guessing. Probably when schools start up again, and then we see how that goes. And if that turns out well, then we might come back to meetings in person.
You're gonna have to shut this down again.
Charles, I'll tell you how this is gonna go. Now that tomorrow Marlins and the Phillies, and now yesterday the St. Louis Cardinals, and pretty soon with nobody's Major League Baseball
Oh,
on.
that's going on the whole baseball schedule.
Now, they gotta shut this down and start from scratch and get it right.
I
That's
mean,
one way to do it.
my personal, I don't know if school's playing it or not.
Still right now.
That's not our decision. No, it's not.
I already signed up my kid to be home. They had this, you get the thing?
Oh, yeah, I got the plan for a week ago. We were on a nice
My
plan.
kid, the guinea pig.
We picked the virtual option.
What's that?
We don't have a school resource officer or anything discussed at all this year, right? So we're just anticipating of not having that.
We do have one. I mean, he already has a contract, so if they have school, he'll be there. If they don't have school, I don't know what happens, honestly.
Okay. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. I know their plan, so the plan that I got home anyway was, it sounds like they're gonna try and have school pending the governor's orders, or at least give the option of attending school, you know, with all kinds of rules, masks and distancing and all that stuff.
What, they have 3 kids, 3 positive for day school?
So yeah, there's been a lot of news, there's been a lot of news of other places that have tried this, and then a lot of kids in the school end up getting it. So that's, yeah, somebody's gonna have to make a decision there. But anyway, our last thing before executive session is public comment. Do we have any public comment?